Alright, we got a player focus this week on CLG Ruin.
Player focus!
So, Ruin is an import from the TCL, who I think is actually an import from Korea, technically. Let me just pull him up real quick. Yeah, he has Korea. He has, well, I don't know everyone's residency off the top of my head.
But we did, okay, we knew we were talking about Ruin.
So he has Korean residency, so he still counts as an import from Korea. So Ruin came in, and he's looking pretty good. CLG's been kind of on an upswing before this weekend.
Korean residency?
He's
never been on a Korean team.
I know, right?
What the fuck?
I don't fucking know, man.
What?
I've been asking that question forever.
Alright, anyway, keep going.
So, he came in, and he looks like he's meshing with CLG pretty well. And he's looking okay for a top laner in NA. Then I look at his stats, and I'm just like, what the hell are these stats? He's 11th out of 12 at a 1.7 KDA. He's second to last above Someday.
Yikes.
I don't know what's more annoying about that stat. That Someday's below him, or that he's second lowest and he kind of looks okay.
It's also the Someday one.
He's also second highest average deaths, but he has the second most gold difference at 15 at 392. So I don't know if this proves that stats mean fucking nothing in League of Legends, or that Ruin's stats are just so erratic, and he seems to get a lot of gold from his team. Like, just looking at the stat line in general, it seems like either other teams focus away from top lane and therefore he gets to play the game a little bit, or he just gets extra farm, because I think he's pretty high on CS per minute, and I think he's actually pretty high on solo kills total. I think he's tied with Haunser or something. No, he's tied with Broken Blade. Oh, I'm sorry. He's tied with Broken Blade for CSD at 15, which is -3. At 7th. So it's hard to read into these stats and draw any real conclusions, just because they mean they're showing so many different things. And I guess he knows how to get plates, which is where I expect him to get the gold from. But I'm guessing CLG just drop Herald top a lot more than other teams. So what did you find on Ruin?
Not much different than you. I was also surprised by the statistics. Especially, I also found that 11 out of 12 thing, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, because watching Ruin play, he doesn't feel like that. Doesn't feel like.
It doesn't feel like he's hard inting and just dying like Huni. Huni has a higher KDA than this,
which is shocking to me. Anthony, that's mind-boggling. I have a higher KDA than Ruin. Unacceptable. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But
you shouldn't. You really shouldn't.
I just shouldn't. I'm terrible at this game. But Ruin feels like a good fit for CLG in the sense that even though his stats are a little bit subpar, he seems to be what CLG needs. It seems like when they need him to step up, he steps up, and when they need him to fade in the background, he doesn't lose them the game because of it every time, right? Like, if we were coming into this both thinking, which it seems like we were both thinking, well, Rune's pretty good, right? Like, Rune's not that bad. He's good for CLG. And then we find out his stats are bad. Well, then, oh man, well, we have to look at why we thought he's good. And for me, it's because when I'm watching CLG play, I'm like, okay, well, Rune's doing what he needs to be doing to help the team, right? Like, he's never really, in my eyes, he never feels like the reason they are losing the game, which to me is important. There were times when Darshan felt like that. There were times when Darshan hard carried, but Rune feels significantly more consistent, even if his stats are kind of low. And maybe it is just the case that in professional League of Legends, stats aren't that important because you don't always have to have every single player be the hyper carry. Sometimes you need a player who can sit back and play tanks or play bruisers and not get 100% of the resources and hard carry the game on like Fiora or Quinn or some bullshit.
In Rune's case, play split push.
Yeah, and you just have them do what you need them to do. And when you need them to carry or when you need them to split push, they can do it. And when you need them to be a meat wall who gets no gold, they can do it, right? And that seems to be what Rune's role is, right? Like, he seems to be an out-and-out role player. He does what his team needs him to do. He's never really the star. Like, he kind of is sometimes, but he's never really, like, the guy. And he's never the one losing the game because of that either. So maybe that's just what CLG needed. Maybe they just needed someone who was going to be able to consistently fill whatever role they needed, and Rune was that in a very all-around way. Or maybe we just were too blind to notice the terrible stats, and it turns out stats matter and he's trash. I don't think that's the case, but
I mean,
his stats probably matter, but I don't think he's trash.
Even this weekend, they pulled out a lane swap against Aurelia so they could try to match it up against Renekton, because Renekton just bodies Aurelia.
So I watched that game, but I want you to know that I'm still such an old League of Legends player that you said lane swap, I imagined.
Top and
like the full, top
bottom.
I was like, that seems really weird. And then I was like, oh, he means mid. Like,
no, a lot of teams have actually been doing this, trying to get better matchups for Aurelia. Though, to be honest, the Victor matchup doesn't sound a whole lot better.
Who was the enemy top?
Nico. To be honest, you're really trying not to put Renekton up against Nico, because that's a bad time. Nobody wants to play that. That just sucks. So...
That sounds really brutal for the Renekton player.
It is. I hate playing into casters on Renekton. But, so the other thing I noticed about Rune is that he has 8 unique champions. So
yeah, you mentioned that. I actually wasn't paying attention to that, but I was surprised when I heard it.
He has a Vladimir game where he has a 0 KDA.
Like 0-0-0?
No, 0-3-0. He died 3 times and had 0 kill.
0 KDA, or is that his -3?
That's technically a 0.
Alright, it's not great though.
It's not. It's really not. Hang on, let me just...
They win that game?
No, that was a defeat. 100% a defeat. Yeah, Dokla bodied him.
Damn.
On Poppy, the only champion Dokla can play.
And they tries.
Yeah. They just got steamrolled that game. Like the whole team did. And they had 2 kills that entire game. Damn. So I just...
That's not Rune's fault though.
So using the eye test with Rune, he definitely looks like he's gelling. And I think the 8 different champions, and still his stats aren't that great, but it's playable. It's not bad. So I think from my comparison, how Darshan seemed to be playing the best, or at least how he was working with the team, this is an upgrade. But overall, I don't know how much higher of a ceiling Rune has, and I don't think it's that high.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't have much more to say about him.
Okay.
So you wanna take us on home?
Oh yeah, okay. That'll do it for week 4 coverage of the Legendary League Lens podcast. Catch us every Monday at 7. Twitch.tv on twitch.tv/Nizzy2K11. Catch the VODs on my YouTube channel. Have a nice day.
Have a good night.